How you doing? I found that there's not that many trip reports on ALLAD. ALLAD. It's literally allyl lysergic acid ethylamide. It is basically LSD, but it's just slightly different than the classical LSD that you and I know. I find this chemical to be extremely interesting. It's much more recreational than standard LSD. I find it to be more tolerable mentally in more circumstances. In other words, you could go out in the woods and enjoy a day without having to commit to going too deep into your own mind, or you can party with it. You can eat this stuff at a party and still keep it together and socialize and have a good time. It's not like a forced introspective experience or anything like that. It's much more just recreational. It's acid without the the looping thoughts and all that. I find it to be more something I can do every weekend, which is probably not a good thing. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's not as therapeutic. It's almost like the rule of thumb is the deeper it makes you go, the more you get out of it when you come out the other side. And this stuff, while I do feel good the next day and everything, it's not like a lasting impression. Visually, this stuff's really cool. The visuals are a bit different than classic acid. I can't quite put my finger on how. The character is just different. It's one of those things, trying to explain the difference in taste between a mandarin and a tangerine and an orange, right? They all taste like a type of orange, but it's kind of hard to describe exactly what the flavor difference is. I can try and, there's a lot of visual activity, but patterns and geometry doesn't quite form until higher doses. It's weird. It's like at 1 tab you get some interesting effects, visual effects, but it's almost like the visual effects that you would expect like more geometry and laser hologram like visuals you get off of acid. It's almost like that's stripped away at a lower average dose. However, you take it a little higher than 1 tab, that's when things get visually very interesting. It's got its own unique character to everything about it, but it's lysergic. It's weird. It's totally acid, but different. A lot of fun, great experience. Safety has not been officially established because it's not a common or studied chemical. It was invented, I believe, I know Shogun synthesized it and tried it and said it was one of the best materials ever. But I've read somewhere that the Japanese synthesized it and worked with it in the 70s or 80s. I can't remember where I read this, and I don't know if it's true, so don't hold me to that. But yeah, it's a very fun chemical if you're not trying to go deep, if you're not trying to have a spiritual or mystical experience. Not that you can't have one with this stuff. I believe every psychedelic can push you to that, but that's not in its agenda, I would say, or it's not in the forefront of the experience. You definitely can reflect on things. Just it can take you into a psychedelic headspace. It's just not quite as forced, I guess. If you wanted, you can go that way. You can go a little deeper by just wanting to and desiring that, but it doesn't like push you into it like LSD, or especially like mushrooms. For me, LSD is quite a bit more recreational than shrooms, or user friendly, I guess. Like if someone asked me, I want to try a psychedelic, what should I try first? I would say low to moderate dose of LSD before mushrooms. I find mushrooms to be far more overwhelming and like out of body and cosmic. Maybe cosmic's not the right word. Shit can get cosmic on LSD, but mushrooms like force a mystical state, I would say, and then LSD forces an introspective state that can go in many directions. Anyway, that's not the topic of discussion here. I'd like to stay on the topic of this interesting new novel chemical, new to us, new to the public. Don't ask me where I got it. It was given to me by a friend. Do your research. You can find it if you wanted. I'm sure you know someone that can find it for you, if not on your own. So yeah, closed eye visuals were very interesting. Like upon closed eyes, I would have lattices and these tall characters, cartoon characters, dancing with each other, almost like Fantasia. Very entertaining to watch. Very bright, vivid, laser-esque, laser show-esque. As far as headspace, like I said, it's very minimal. It's transparent. You're not inebriated per se. You're not very inebriated anyway. Acid can make me feel more inebriated than this stuff. It's a very, like, where mushrooms can be very forced personal, like you have to walk away from the group and trip on your own kind of thing, which happens to me a lot on shrooms. Acid, that could happen, but it's less common. This stuff is very much a friend, like, or social oriented experience. Very fun to just do with your friends on a Friday night. Sit around and watch movies, or just talk, drink beer. I find it to be very conducive for, as something you can even replace that alcohol social aspect with this chemical. It's probably quite a bit better for you, considering it's within the safety or similar safety as LSD, which I believe in my intuitively that it is. In many ways, it felt quote unquote cleaner than LSD. It was a bit more not as heavy on the body, although you may find others say that it is quite there is a body load to it, but I didn't get one. Very giggly stuff. It makes you laugh a lot. Euphoric in that sense. It makes you just laugh. Everything's funny. All I can say is, I can't recommend any of this stuff. Anything I talk about on here I can't recommend, but I personally liked it. I don't condone the use of any illegal substances or any illegal activities, but I enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Alright.